information to help you as you move forward along your path, and life wisdom from the guides. Life wisdom stands for love, inspiration, faith, and empowerment. On this spiritual talk show, we talk about everything from self-love and creating your own reality to quantum physics and what your soul wants you to know. I'm your host, Ed Langen, the channel for Ascended Masters, a life coach, a law of attraction expert, and a spiritual teacher. Other than that, I am just a regular dude, whatever that might be. In this episode, I'm going to interview Julie Vincent, and we're going to talk about going from corporate to spiritual. The first part of the show, I'm going to interview Julie, and we're going to talk about her spiritual path and how she went from working a corporate job to her friend passing and to opening a spiritual center, Dragonflies in Amber. Julie is also a gifted medium. The second part of the show, I'm going to channel the guides to answer questions for people about law of attraction and about anything else that they have on their mind. Keep in mind, the more focused and more powerful the question, the more powerful the answer from the guides. You can send in questions ahead of time. I did have a question come in ahead of time, so that's good. And Julie will also be joining us for the Q&A. And Julie is here, as you can see. We are having some technical difficulties with the sound, so hopefully you can hear us. If you're having trouble with that, let us know. I don't know if we can fix it. We're doing we've been trying for the past half hour, so we'll do the best we can. I would like to thank everybody who is liking and sharing all of my shows and all of our shows on Star Nations. We really appreciate that. Star Nations is a wonderful resource for everybody. And Neshi is here. Hi, Neshi. How are you? Thanks for being here. And as I was saying, we really appreciate everybody at Star Nations, appreciate you liking and sharing all of our shows. It's a great resource for people who are looking for spiritual information. And we thank you, heartfelt thank you from all of us for that. All right. So we're going to see who else is joining us. And Neshi, I don't know if you heard, we're having some technical difficulties with the sound. Hopefully everybody can hear us and it's working out. While we're waiting to see who's joining us, I do want to let everybody know that the May issue of Star Nations magazine has been published and it is available. We'll make sure that the link is in the comments so that you guys can get a copy of that. It's a wonderful magazine. I am a writer for that. Some of you know Polly Jo. She writes for it. Marianne, yeah. Maureen Mann writes for it. Neshi writes for it. Julie Hedges writes for it. So there's a lot of wonderful information in there for you guys to check out. Yeah, there is an echo in the mic because I can't hear Julie. So I'm listening to Julie through Marge's computer in the other room. How bad is the echo?
It's bad.
Oh, okay. Hi, Sandy. Can you guys hear Julie? Julie, welcome, Julie. This is Julie Vincent, the owner of Dragonflies in Amber.
Hi, everybody.
Excellent, excellent. While we're waiting to see who else joins in, Sandy is here. Hi, Sandy. How are you? I want to remind everybody that once a month we have a meditation and prayer where for 10 minutes we hold the intention for peace, love, harmony, and healing. And this month's meditation is going to be on Monday, May 18th at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And if you can't join us then, remember that time is not linear, and you can meditate anytime during the day and have your intention to have that join with us. So the information is there. You can see it on the screen. If you want more information, that's Monday the 18th. And Sandy is saying that you can hear us both good. Sylvia is here. Hi, Sylvia. How are you? Fran is here. Hey, Fran. How are you? Good.
Hi, girl.
So Julie has a really interesting story about how she went from working a corporate job to owning dragonflies and amber. So I'm going to let Julie tell you a little bit about that. So my first question for Julie is, will you tell us how you went from working in corporate to opening dragonflies and amber?
So honestly, I didn't do anything. Universe did most of it. So I was working in regular mainstream jobs majority of my life. And in my mid 40s, a dear friend of mine, Patty, started passing away. And we had been in banking together a long time. And we had always talked about spiritualism and what comes next. And we had talked about me as a person. I had a skill set that I was definitely afraid of, and I was told by my religion growing up was demons and not to play with them. So we had always talked about that. We were very big on watching the TV shows like Teresa, John Edwards, reading James Van Praagh, Sylvia Brown, all of those type of things. But we never took action because we were good Catholic girls. And then she started to pass away. And we were blessed with a chunk of time with her to make as much peace with it as you can. And in that time, she asked me to start tapping into this, all that is. And we didn't know quite what that meant. And I was told her I wasn't doing it because I'd get possessed. And she said, I'm dying. And I said, okay. And so during the final phases of her passing, she told me, I'm ready to go home. There is more. I can feel it. I can hear them. And I said, okay. And so I went to Barnes and Noble. And the first book I bought was The Idiot's Guide to Communicating with Spirit. And I opened the book and it opened everything. So over the years, I was a closet medium because I said I would never be a public medium. And Universe and Patty had a totally different plan. So right after she passed, everything started going upside down and backwards in the best ways possible. And it just started on a journey. And I would see the breadcrumb or I would catch the sign and all those things we learned about as we started tapping into the awakening, for lack of a better term. And it led to Dragonflies and Amber.
Now, what was your corporate job? What were you doing?
The majority of my jobs were in banking, finance. I did go into a stint for a few years in commercial real estate, managing their offices, and then I did run a building company just before Dragonflies and Amber manifested itself, and then Universe had a totally different plan. And so here I sit in this amazing place surrounded by amazing people living an amazing life, and I can take pretty much no credit for it.
Oh, you should take a little credit for it, for being willing to do it. So you read The Idiot's Guide to
Communicating with Spirit.
and it worked, huh?
And it worked. I mean, I read a ton, but that was my first, I had read James Van Praagh, Sylvia Brown for recreation while Patty was alive, but the how to do what they do, even though at some level it comes naturally, it's scary because you're taught to be afraid.
Right.
And once you learn to set boundaries, there's nothing to be afraid of. Universe just wants to play. So not only Spirit, but Universe or everything as a whole, it is dying to communicate with you. You just have to tap in.
Right. Okay. So you're working in finance and in banking and in real estate. Now, your friend Patty, you met her through work.
Yes.
Okay, and the two of you worked together, and she unfortunately got ill and sort of pushed you into doing this. Now, you didn't just magically become a medium. What was happening when you were a kid? Right? Because we don't want everybody to think they can go buy the book, Idiot's Guide to whatever, and they read the book and
Well, in my belief system, and again, I don't ever try to get anybody to believe what I believe, but my particular path and life experience has brought me to this belief system that all of us come with a skill set. Mm-hmm. And you just have to learn what it is and how to tap into it. So as a child, I would see Spirit, and I thought that they were the imaginary friends that everybody else had. And then as you start to get older and friends and family start looking at you like, you didn't know that. Or, you go over a friend's house and you start talking about this aunt that's there and they're like, no, nope, she's been good a long time. And then they make you afraid of it. Not on purpose. I mean, I had a wonderful upbringing, but when people look at you that way, you don't want to stand out. You don't want to be the odd one. And back then it wasn't so accepted as it is now.
Right.
So
Yes. Good. Before we ask you another question, Cynthia's here. Hi, Cynthia. Emily is here. Marie is here. Hello to everybody. So, have you ever heard this? That if you go crabbing, if you catch one crab and you throw it in the bucket, you have to put a cover on it. But once you catch a couple more crabs and you throw the crabs in the bucket, you don't have to keep the cover on the bucket anymore, because if one crab starts climbing out, the other ones will pull them back down.
I've never heard that.
Yeah, so that's kind of what you were just saying, that they made you feel weird and uncomfortable, when you realize that not everybody has invisible friends and not everybody is seeing what you're seeing. It's the crabs in the bucket, and they kind of pull you back down and say, and you go, ooh, I don't know about this.
Well intentioned. I mean, nobody meant any harm. It just, it wasn't ordinary. I mean, throughout time, you learn as you start having conversations as an adult of, oh, your grandmother used to do that. Oh, well, you're right. Well, why didn't we use this? Because once you tap into universe itself, not even just spirit of the past loved ones, but all of those frequency levels, life changes on a dime for the better. Like, all of that worry and all of that heartache really becomes very manageable if it even exists. If you pay attention to what is presented to you and use your intellect to execute instead of find, life becomes a magical journey.
Yes. Good. And I see Paula is joining us too. Hello, Paula. We're glad you're here. And Sandy commented, everybody is dying to communicate. That's pretty funny. And Fran is writing those damn crabs.
I've been amazed through this whole thing because, again, being raised very mainstream, mediumship was, like that's daring. And now, after a year with all of the folks that have magically come to Dragonflies, because I didn't find them, I didn't do anything great. You guys all found me. I couldn't be more than blessed. And the skill sets and the universal knowledge that is available. I don't understand why we don't teach this in school. I don't understand. Because the power in being able to tap into it is life-changing. It really, really is.
Well, most people are afraid, just like you were, because, we're, let's be honest, we're an odd bunch.
But in the best way possible.
I'm used to being the odd, it's not unusual to me. And some of you know that a few years back, I talked to my parents and I let them know fully what I did. They had an idea what I did. And I let them know fully what they did. And my father says to me, oh, my mother used to read tea leaves. And I'm like, really? You couldn't have told me that like 40 years ago? Really? So I understand.
Yeah.
I understand. Now, I wanted to touch on something because you said your life got a whole lot better once you opened up to spirit and started changing. What was going on with you physically before you started doing your work?
I had a syndrome called Carney Triad syndrome, which is a tumor disorder that 104 people in the world have. And it turns out in the long run, because now all of the magical people that I work with are curing me, that it's all energetic blocks. So I physically and mentally and environmentally and relationship-wise was very, very not well. I was angry. I was overly emotional. I was physically ill. Sleep was interrupted. Friendships were affected by it. Relationships, marriages, it wasn't good because I kept trying to get inside a box I did not belong in.
Right.
And so, although I was in work environments and I was in home environments and my family and my friends were really amazing people, I myself was forever having angst of some sort, assuming drama was happening to me and not understanding that everything was happening because of me.
Right. Right.
And yeah, it just was the constant cycle of taking the wrong path, spinning in a circle, chasing your tail, and not understanding why. If you feel so loving and you feel so kind, why was everything always a struggle? And then you start getting all of that universal knowledge and you start embracing your gifts, and it universe will take over, and they will put people in your life, and they will remove jobs from your life, and they will remove people or circumstance or illness when you get on that path. And once you get used to what being on the path or being in the vortex, as you like to say, feels like, you know when you're starting to go off of it because you're internally in angst and you're all of a sudden facing a lot of struggle again, and you're like, okay, I'm not doing something right. There's a lesson I didn't learn. I didn't pick up on something.
Right.
And you immediately go to a different school of thought than where's taught in mainstream life. You go to why is this happening turns into what am I doing to cause this to happen? What am I
Right. So
learning?
So you go from being a victim to taking control and allowing it to heal. So what you had was trapped energy in your body from denying who you were for so long, ever since you were a little girl. And it was starting to manifest into physical illness.
Yes.
And it was very dramatic for you to make the shift and now allow all this energy to flow. So you had this big tidal wave of energy that you had been holding back. And as soon as you allowed it, it all came. And we know that all of us who work with you at Dragonflies and have the privilege to teach there, etc., we know that it was your energy that pulled us all in. And as soon as you allowed that wave to flow, you lit up like a Christmas tree and pulled us all in. So, or as I refer to you as you lit up like a lighthouse, like a beacon shining out and saying, here I am, I'm looking for you guys. So
it does feel like that because this all presented itself. I did not have a business plan. I did not create this is what I want to have. I just wanted to make a difference. I wanted to make a positive ripple effect, and I kept feeling that every day. And then universe just kept handing me a small little breadcrumb here and a small little breadcrumb there, and here, look at this. And when something would present itself to me once or twice, I'd be like, all right, I hear you. And then I'm like, but I don't know what to do. And over again, I heard, whether it was in conversation or just heard, you don't have to know. You don't have to know. And when I stopped having to know,
right.
It came in like a freight train. And I was led to the building. I was led to what Dragonflies in Amber is supposed to be. And because I kept trying to fit it in that intellect of, I had gone to the State of Grace and I had seen Myra, and they told me I was not on my life path. And I was like, okay. And I did a 180 because I got so tired of struggling and not knowing why. So I thought, well, what's the worst that can happen? And so I just literally called Uncle and said, all right, universe, in the kindest way possible, have at me. And it was clear this job, clear this health issue, clear this toxic person. Oh, by the way, this is all the stuff that you need to face and give self-forgiveness and hope the people that you were involved with forgive you too. And get into those dark pieces of yourself, forgive yourself. And then when you're at peace, it all starts to come. So as you know, in this business, everything is an onion layer. Once you get through one onion layer, you think, thank God. And then, oh, another one? Great. Thanks. But it starts to get easier and easier and easier. So in 2019, in March, I opened the doors of Dragonfly and Amber thinking it was me and two other people I had met upon my path that really were quite influential. And so I thought, all right, the three of us will use this building here and there. What could possibly go wrong? I've only quit my job with no idea how to pay the rent. But universe said I'm supposed to, so I'm going to trust it. And so I did. And by August of last year, there were 15 to 16 of you wanting to work out of here. And I didn't solicit you. You all heard from someone else, and in you came. And I I can't even express how excited I feel about getting up every single day. Like I stand here and you've all heard me say it, like, this gets to be our life. Like, this gets to be my life. I actually get to make a difference. And I used to go from thinking, if I could just make a difference in my little piece of the world,
Right.
to if I could just make a difference to the entire universe by being happy, I'm going to do that.
Right.
And so I really, when I catch myself in those moods, because we all get them, because welcome to the human experience, I call one of you, or, I have a very, very solid base of family and friends who I could not have done this with, never mind started. I couldn't survive it every day because my inner child would run off somewhere.
Right. Right.
But yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing what universe will do the second you let it.
Right.
The second you trust and don't have to know the destination or know the how or know the why, just know you're supposed to.
Right.
It all
And
comes.
that's very corporate mind thinking. So you were very used to that, to having a plan laid out, having a business plan, having that. And so this was a very unique experience for you to just take a leap of faith,
Yeah,
which is what you did.
and somebody says to me, what does your company do? And I say, it's not a company, it's a community.
Yeah.
And well, what do you sell? We sell a ripple effect. Well, what does that mean? Come in, you'll see.
Mm.
We sell a ripple effect of making you feel better, whatever that means to you. So
Right.
whether it's nutrition, an energy treatment, a meditation, a fun dance class, talking to your higher self, talking to spirit, it can go on and on and on. It amazes me every day, the realms of possibility and the universal existence you can't even put time or space to it.
Yeah, that's fun. I agree. I
Yeah, and
agree.
it's the clicking out of the intellect. Like that's what's going to do you in every single time. Everything you've been taught to do as a child, toss it out the window and just trust that gut instinct. If it feels like you're supposed to go in that direction and you know it's not harmful, go.
Yeah.
You don't have to know how. You don't have to know why. Just take that first little baby step, and the next step will show itself to you.
Right. Right. Well, you've heard us say in the workshops that you can drive across the United States in your car at night because your headlights show 200 feet in front of you, and that's all you need to see.
That's
And
it.
you can, as you said, the next step will appear, and the next step will appear. What happened on Super Bowl Sunday?
So I had been being told over a year or so, Dragonflies and Amber is going to be big. Dragonflies and Amber is going to be big. And I sit there going, I don't understand. Because if you know me, you know, like, nope, not big. No, 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 no. And then it kept going, yes, you are. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. And I'm like, no, I don't think so. And in a couple of channelings with one of the practitioners that works here, she kept saying, Dragonflies and Amber is a web. And we would both go, what's that mean? And then you would come, and Emily would come, and Paula would come, and Sandy would come, and Sylvia would come, and Francesca would come, and here comes the web. And here it comes. And I'm like, this is crazy. Like, I don't understand. So I kept hearing this web, 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 and I didn't understand what it meant. So once again, I stood in the quiet, and I said, universe, I don't understand. Show me what you mean. And I wasn't getting it. It was like I needed a sledgehammer. So my very wise mother was sitting with me on Super Bowl Sunday, and she said, well, maybe it's supposed to be a bigger place. And I said, well, we're booked, but how am I going to afford that? And she goes, I don't know. And I went, I don't think I'm supposed to know. And I came and looked at the building, and the original suite that I was looking at was very small. And it was what I thought I could do because it was going to be 3 of us. And the landlord goes, oh, I'm sorry, this suite's already taken, but I have this other one if you want to look at this one. And I'm like, so I go in and I open the door and I hear, ah, and I'm like, and I walked through the space and I looked at the landlord and I said, I really appreciate your time, but this is way too big for me. But thank you. And he goes, well, what do you do? And I explained what I did, and I thought for sure he was going to kick me out. And he said, really? And he got this puzzled look on his face, and he said, I'll tell you what, I will give you this unit for the price of the other one for the first year.
Wow.
And I was wise enough to know that's the universe going, here's your breadcrumb. And I
Yeah.
went,
Yeah.
okay. So I went, I don't know if I should do this. And my significant other looked at me and said, why wouldn't you? And I'm like, what's the worst that's going to happen? I tried for a year and it doesn't work. And then I go back to work, like, whatever.
Right.
And I
Right.
take it. And there were several people along the journey who probably don't want to be named publicly. So they all know who they are. And they said, okay, let's go try it. What's going to happen? And I said, all right. And so I invited the two that I thought were coming with me to the building. And Myra, being one of them, says, Julie, I love it. I think we finally understand what the web is. But guess what? It's too small.
Yep.
And I went, what the are you talking about? I just threw my job away. I don't know how I'm going to pay for this. What are you talking about? And that's when there was the snowball. Like I opened up that door and here you come and here, everybody else comes. And by November, we moved to 2 new units because that original one was too small. So I didn't even make it a year into the lease before I was in a building that was too small.
Right.
And had I let intellect take over, I would still be a closet medium traveling to your house, working on referral only, instead of making this place happen that is going to cause universal ripple effects. The talent that sits in this building is not me. It's all of the people that come into this building, all of the practitioners, all of the teachers, all of the clients. The universal difference this tiny little place is going to make is beyond words.
Yeah. Yeah. So what does dragonflies and amber mean?
So dragonflies and amber actually created itself through Patty. While she was passing away, I asked her how I would know she was there. And she said, you will see green dragonflies and you will smell lavender. And then in the time we were blessed with her, I had done some research on crystals, and the color amber had always resonated with me anyway. And I found an excerpt somewhere that said amber was the renewal of life. It's a resin. And so dragonflies and amber, and of course the color purple for the lavender. So it is named after Patty. It's in honor of her.
Okay. Something weird just happened. Your whole screen turned green. You pixelated.
Okay. I can still see me.
She's fine. Okay. It's just on my screen then. All right. That's weird. Okay.
And for us, it's not weird.
Right. It might be Patty coming to
It very well be.
coming to say hello. Yeah. So do you remember one of the first times I walked into Dragonflies and Amber, what happened?
I don't.
You remember the dragonfly sitting on my shoulder that flew in and came in?
That's right. And it was huge. It was really large. Yes, I remember that now.
Yes, yeah. And you're like, oh, who just came in with you? And I'm like, what? What are you talking about? And we both saw it. It was a big dragonfly. It was not little. There was no missing that. So that was interesting. And I am guilty of one of the ones who told you that you weren't in a bigger place, that you were going to need a bigger place. As soon as I walked in, I was like, oh no, this is too small.
I have to be honest with you. If I were to plan it or let my intellect get in the way, I would create it way too small if I would even create it at all. So I cannot stress enough that once you learn to tap into universal information that is sent to you, whether it's a feeling or a gut instinct, or you keep hearing a conversation over and over again, or you get an animal sign, or all those ways that we weren't taught to pay attention to as children,
right?
It will lead you right to what you need to do, and your intellect will know how. So it's almost like that soul calling. That gut instinct will lead you to what you're supposed to do next. And now you kick in the intellect of how to execute that.
Right. So it's trusting what's coming from within, which is a challenge for a lot of people because of ego and because of control and because of fear, to let go and really trust. That's why a lot of people don't take leaps of faith like you. So I'm very impressed that you've done that. That to me is quite brave, and we know you don't like attention on you, but tough.
Well, as long as I am, I honestly don't.
That's good. So What happened at Myra's event when you
So I was
what did
trying very, very hard back then. This is during just after Patty passing away, and I was reading my books that were busting this thing wide open. And I had read quickly the excerpt of what she was doing. And I thought it was go to learn how to channel. And it turned out that it was actually Myra
oh,
channeling.
okay.
At the time she was channeling in a trance state, she doesn't anymore. And she went and got quiet, and I went with my sister who has been through this all with me. I have a core set of people that my girlfriend Yvonne, my sister Yvette, they were there from the very beginning, and then it goes on to significant other and all of that. And they've watched this crazy transformation that their intellect says she's lost her mind, and then they go, she's doing amazing. She looks so happy. Like maybe I should lose my mind a little. But when I was in that class, the panel that Myra was channeling yelled at me, and he said, your body is sick, your mind is sick, your relationships are not well, you're not following your life path. How much worse do you want it to get? And that one thing was like, oh, no, I don't want it to get any worse. And I went home and I went, this is what I'm doing with my life. Knowing that was going to throw everything into a tailspin. And it did, but not a scary tailspin. This is what you're supposed to be doing. Just trust it.
Okay, so I just want to adjust that tiny bit. It's not what you were supposed to do. It's in alignment with your soul, which lights you up, which makes you happy.
Yeah.
So that's a slightly different than, because we don't want people thinking that there's stuff out there that they're supposed to do or they have to do. You were living very much not in alignment with who you were, and this was about getting yourself into alignment. So just want to make that clarification. And I also want to say hi to Cindy. Cindy is here, and she says she has a big smile on her face. And Emily is saying we are conditioned to question our instinct, and that is very, very true. So, excellent. Let's see. I'm looking at my. So, tell us about your mediumship. What do you do? And you said you had been doing it all along. So that I find interesting that you said that you never advertised and you would only do it for word of mouth. And do you do cards, or what do you do?
I do. So when I started to learn how to communicate with Patty, I was only tapping in to talk to somebody I already knew, maybe aunts, uncles. I didn't really know my grandparents well, and her, to let everybody know, because she really left a big mark on this world for her short life. And so there were a lot of people that were going to miss her. And so I was only learning to talk with her. So I already believed she was there. So my particular mediumship style developed very intimately. So it's not like you see on television where the very talented mediums that you see, they get a lot of symbol or whatever. My style is they take over my whole feeling base. And so if you walk in and you've lost your husband, I instantly want to marry you. I lose all my emotion base, and I'm like, oh my God, I want to marry you. And I never knew why. And so then as I started to be able to let them in, you can fire a question at me and they will just answer, because all they want is 5 or 10 more minutes to show you that they go on just in a very different way. So because I wasn't planning to ever do it publicly, that's how it developed for me. So it was one person, I was talking to about it, and there was an incident in a Walmart where I was trying very hard not to bring up the subject and shut down the registers. It was a mess until we discussed the subject, and then I ended up forming a very big friendship with that person, and she actually practices out of here. But it was all things like that. Just a word of mouth here. I had this reading with this person, and she says that she's not a medium, but I got to tell you, it was crazy. And then they tell 2 friends, and they tell 2 friends, and they tell 2 friends. So I was a closet medium. And in those first few years, probably up until about 8 months ago, I would not have introduced myself and told you that I am a medium.
Right. Good.
But I am, because I'm learning that medium doesn't just mean speaking with past loved ones. you're a channel, you're a conduit. So once you
Right.
start learning, if you have the skill set or planned the skill set, however it comes, um, it will be there.
Yes. Good. So, Margaret Spooner says hello. Hello, Margaret. We're glad you're here. And Emily says referrals in Walmart. Emily. So she
Yeah.
just put that up there when you were talking about the Walmart story. So there might be a little law of attraction thing going on there.
Well, it may or may not have been Emily that I
Yeah.
met in.
Okay. I wonder. Okay. All right. Very good. The mediums on TV are not better than you. They just do things differently.
Correct.
And we want you to, your ability is not there. There isn't a scale. There isn't a comparison. And it's you becoming more comfortable with it and feeling more within yourself. They're not better than you at all. So we just want to make sure that you understand that. So, and we know you do. Good. What makes your heart happy?
Oh, all of you. So I can remember, again, growing up in a wonderful family, good friend base. I've had wonderful, wonderful jobs throughout my life with amazing, bosses and coworkers and staff. But I was always in that box and feeling anxious. And one of the things was I was always in sales. You're supposed to sell a product, and all I cared about was the person and what they needed. And so I would always have this internal battle feeling like I don't need to shove this checking account down their throat. They need a friend. They need someone to talk to. They keep coming into the teller station because they're lonely. And I would just instinctually know that. And I was forever getting in trouble for taking good care of people. You spend too much time with your customers, or why didn't you sell them the blah blah blah? And I'm like, well, because they didn't need it. Yes, but you could have sold it. Oh yeah, I can sell anything, but they didn't need it.
Yeah.
And so that really bothered me. Like I could not rest my head well. So this allows me to lead with my heart every single day and support and grow the people around me every single day and watch clients come in and get exactly what they need and they didn't even know that they needed it. So
Yeah.
what makes my heart happy is being able to provide a house for the community to grow, to just change people for the better every single day, because all they have to do is see the light inside themselves, and everyone here knows how to do that. So it's not that they come in and they see a particular practitioner or myself and they say, oh my God, they've changed my world. They lit up what was already inside. And once you get the client to understand it wasn't me, it wasn't me who changed you. I just lit up what you already knew.
Mm-hmm.
And so that I get up every day amazed that this is my world. Like this is what I get to do every day. I get to lead with my heart. I get to do the right thing. I don't have to sell anybody anything. If they need it, we are here. And there are just so many different things that are available that there's no way that this doesn't help.
Yep. Yep. Good. I love that. And I work at a lot of different places. You know that. And I love all of the people at all those places and I love how they work, but you're different. And part of that, and I have had people that I work with, friends come and connect with you and also work through there because your idea is not about how can I sell you another product? How can I, you need to buy these crystals, or you need to buy this sage, or you need to buy that. You're really leaning with your heart. And what is it that this person, how can we really help them? How can we light them up? And your goal, which is one of the things that you told me when we first came in there, is you want to create a community.
Right.
Okay. So do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yes, because I genuinely feel, and again, it's my belief system, and I don't impart that on anybody else, but this is my soul purpose or my soul talking to me. And if I do right by the practitioner and I do right by the client, everything else will fall into place. So if they don't need something, don't offer it to them. And as far as all of the other places go, they are all wonderful. And I wish that I could get them to look inside and say, there is no competition. If we all just saw each other for our special little piece in the difference that we can make, and we all just rose each other up, it would be such a different world. And so that energy is not allowed inside Dragonflies and Amber. Unless you are coming in here to either feel better or make somebody else feel better or to grow someone or grow yourself, you're not going to feel like walking in this door.
Right.
You just, oh, I can't even explain it. I can remember many times in my life hearing places like that don't exist. Not everything is hearts and flowers. And I remember having an argument with a very dear person in my life once who went, not everything is hearts and flowers and rainbows and unicorns. And I stood up in my whole 4 foot, 1,000 pounds and went, well, in my world it is. Because it is. Even
Yes.
on those bad days, you're being presented with it for a reason. Look at it. If it's a challenge, you're supposed to be learning or teaching. So look at it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And even the worst day is a gift, because the worst day on this side of the grass is still better than the alternative. Even though it's wonderful over there, I'm not ready.
Yeah. 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 Absolutely. So Emily just put in the comments that she is over there crying with pride, and Fran just put awe and lots of hearts. So absolutely. And when Marge and I are around you, we absolutely believe in unicorns and rainbows and all of that kind of stuff. Now, it's probably easier for Marge to believe that, but you got this stuffy old white guy believing in that. So we love your energy.
It can be, Ed. We create the reality.
Right.
So if I believe that everything happens for a reason and it's happening for the highest and the best, and we're all being presented, and you can have an amazing day even on your worst day.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You can. You just have to believe that you can.
Right. And it's understanding that you get to choose what you focus on. And you can focus on, this is the worst thing that ever happened, or there's something good within this and I will find it. And again, we love your energy, your optimism, your joy. You're just a joy for all of us. And we have said this, and we're gonna say this again because we feel it's important. At Star Nations, Neshi is a lighthouse, and she has sent up this big beam of light that's sending out, that's attracting all of these wonderful people, Polly Joe, myself, Maureen Mann, Julie Hedges, and a whole lot of other people. And she is connecting in her way and sending it out. And you're doing the same thing from Dragonflies and Amber. You are this magnificent lighthouse sending out this beam that first attracted all your what should we call ourselves, your worker bees who come to help and to have a safe place to do our work and to teach and to help and uplift. And as our energy joins your energy, your lighthouse gets bigger and bigger. And that's the work. And you know that there's no competition with anybody else. The law of attraction brings you exactly what it is that you're putting out, exactly what you need. In one of the workshops, you've heard the money workshop, we talk about the pie theory. And the fact is, everybody's making their own pie. So the other spiritual places that are around are not in competition with you because you're making your own pie.
Right.
And you have an amazing, unique mix of people at your place. You know, I know quite a few of them. I don't know all of them. And I've made friends with quite a few of them, and I love them all. And some of them, like Franny and Polly Joe, I knew before, but it's amazing. And that's all from you. And that's all the energy that you're putting out there. We're trying not to make you cry.
It's amazing to me. You don't understand. Every human being should be able to experience getting up and feeling like I feel every day. Yeah. My world, not only professionally is abundant, but even personally is abundant. It's not that it's not without challenge, because I wouldn't be living a human life if that were the case. But the people and the blessings that I have in my world. I am truly one of the most blessed human beings, from family and friends and significant others and children, and it's amazing to me that I get to live this life.
Mm. And you inspire so many other people about that. So there's a question from Cindy, and it
Oh,
says, can you ask her about dragons? So we're going to ask you, Julie, what is there something up with dragons, or is that a misunderstanding about dragonflies, or what's up with
no.
that?
So we were talking about all these things that you're taught throughout life on what is fantasy and what is not. And yes, I have a mainstream intellect. And so there are times that I think, okay, so this is where my friends and family are going to put me in a straitjacket. This is where it happens. Because I still have that intellectual piece of remembering how I used to look at people who now talk like I do. And I had this incident with dragons, and I thought they were Disney characters or mythical creatures or Welcome to the Game of Thrones. And no, I live a daily life with dragons. They communicate to me all the time, and it turned out in finding out that this was happening that they actually work with the archangels and unicorns. They're in that realm. So
Mm-hmm.
they're just my form of understanding angelic knowledge. And they present to me in the most amazing, amazing ways. And I get it. I hear how strange it sounds. And thank you,
Not
Cindy,
to
for
me.
making me say it publicly because wouldn't have done that.
Right, right.
But it is. There are all these other frequencies and realms that if you
Yes,
allow yourself to tap into, they're only there to help you if you are
right,
vibrating in that highest and best light.
right, right. So the dragon energy, and I'm surprised that I'm going to say this on TV too, but that's all right. I'm going to say it. The dragon energy is Syrian, from not from the United States, from the star Sirius, the dog star. It's that energy. And interestingly enough, a lot of the Sirius energy from that group also comes through with the Aboriginal people of this country. So it is the that energy the dragons represent Syrian energy from the ETs from up there. And yeah, I just said this on my show.
Now I have just been outed as the crazy lady who speaks to the dead and sees dragons. So that's good.
Yeah, well, no, that's all right. You're no different than the rest of us, and everybody who teaches at your places, I'm sure they're all smiling and happy.
I know I'm
So
about ready to.
yes, good, good.
Uh,
So I want to thank you for being so candid and so loving, and allowing me to interview you on your show. And at this point, we're going to open it up to questions. And I do have a question ahead of time that I'm going to take care of in just a second. But before I bring the guides in, I just want to let everybody know what the guidelines are for the guides. Yes, I know that's funny. And so the guides can be very direct and blunt at times, but they always come from a loving place. The more focused and the more powerful the question, the more focused and powerful the answer. So, do the guides have anything to say to me is not a real focused and powerful question. So we're looking for deeper questions than that. Sometimes my voice changes. You always have free will. The guides will never take away your free will. The guides will give you what is necessary, what you need, not necessarily what you want. Okay. And Julie is going to, there you go. Now she is saying, Sirius is my home star. I love it. So there you go. So that's dragon energy. So thank you, Neshi, for putting that up. We appreciate that. Oh, and Franny has put up a dragon too. Neshi
oh,
wrote, I am still going to make my way to New England, the East Coast, to have a Star Nations reunion. So we will meet Julie, and I will be able to hug Ed, Marge, Maureen, and PJ in person. PJ is Polly Joe. So yes, we're very excited about that, Neshi, and we are looking forward to seeing you. So that's going to be great fun. All right. So Julie is going to stick around to also answer questions and use her skills and abilities. And I'm going to start. This question is from Gretchen, and it says, "My guides have shared that COVID is moving people into consciousness, into the light, and have shown me that these people physically moving into the light out of darkness, but they have also shared that there is a risk of them moving back into darkness. Is there anything all of us can do to help these people remain in the light? Thank you, Gretchen. So just give me a second here, and I'm already hearing some of the answer. So the short answer, Gretchen, is no. There isn't anything you can do, because if you could do something, you would be taking away their free will. And we do not ever have permission to take away anybody's free will. So there isn't that. Now, having said that, what you can do is, if you know these specific people, you can hold a vision of them in your mind, of the highest and best, of them staying in the light, of them staying connected, of everything working for them. And as you hold that vision, you're making that energy available to them, which will make it easier for them to stay there. However, we want you to understand that we are in the energy of asking and allowing. And the interpretation of moving into the darkness can also be asking. So we don't want to make the darkness bad and the light good. We just want to make it all part of the process as we're moving forward. And questioning and asking and contrast at times is what we need to move forward. We didn't come here to always be happy, to always be joyful, to always be sitting under a tree meditating. If we wanted to do that, there was no reason to come here in the first place. We could have stayed in non-physical and just done that. So do you have anything that you'd like to add to that, Julie?
No, I think it goes to exactly what you're saying. We can't manifest in another person's reality.
Yeah.
We each have our own individual things we're supposed to be learning, and we choose with our free will how we're going to learn them, if we want to.
Yeah. Perfect. Excellent. Thank you. Margaret has a question. Anything on my new position at work, should I be looking for places that I haven't applied at? So, Margaret, it is the intention of how you apply to these places that's going to make the difference. If you're applying from a place of connectedness to say, I'm willing to work at any of these places, and any of them would be good, and that's nice, etc., rather than I'm applying to a bunch of other places because I haven't heard from the places that I applied to yet, so I'm getting a little desperate, and I'm getting a little panicky, and I don't know, right? You can feel the difference just in that little demonstration of the energy. So the answer to that is, where's your energy coming from? If you're doing it from a place of joy and thinking, there's some other places, we'll give it a shot, see what happens, then that's fine. If you're doing it from a place of fear, we wouldn't do it. Good. Excellent. Does that work for you, Julie?
Yes.
the
Do what makes your heart happy. If you go to what makes your heart happy, you will find your job.
Perfect. Thank you, Julie. Thank you. Emily, I feel pulled to work spiritually and in a healing capacity with horses. Can the guides help me figure out how to start doing that? You want to start with Emily? You want to take that one first? Are you feeling okay with that?
I do.
All right.
So yes, Emily absolutely is supposed to be working with animals. I also feel that she's going to make an amazing medical intuitive, and not only with people, but more so with the animals, because she understands them and can communicate with them. So that's going to be a huge help. The horses are only going to be a start. And I have a staff member or two at Dragonflies and Amber that happen to know people at stables, and you're going to want to go to the vet and go to the stables, and we will fully support you in helping you get that started.
Perfect. Excellent. Excellent. And yes, we do. We agree. We feel that will be a good thing for Emily to do. And this is going to sound funny, but the horses are going to teach you a lot. Mm-hmm. Because the horses have this amazing connected in the moment energy, and the horses connect really well with humans once you open up to that. So you're going to have quite an experience with that. It's going to be, you're going to have some really cool stories to tell us. So I'm excited about that. So that's going to be fun. Good. All right, Marie. There are no coincidences. My guides are telling me to quit my job and do the same. I also talked to my dragons, started after using Dragon's Oracle deck. I know I'm supposed to trust on quitting my job, but I have two, but I am my own with two kids. Can the guides, dot, dot, dot. So, oh, can the guides give me a clearer path? There we go. Marge is calling the rest of it to me. All right. So, you want to take that one first, Julie, or you want me to?
I just wanted to interject and say, Marie, that's exactly what happened to me. I was sitting in Barnes & Noble and the Dragon deck called me and I thought I was losing my mind. You can take it from there, Ed.
Okay. All right. So the main thing to remember, and this is similar to what we've been saying to some of the other questions too, the same answer that we had for Margaret was, where is the energy coming from? When you make a move like that, if you're coming from a place of fear, we wouldn't necessarily do that. Okay, we want you to be in alignment, we want you to be in joy, we want you to be connected, and then make the decision. Because if you're making this decision from a place of fear, it's not going to line up and it's not going to work out. Now the question is, as was going on with Julie, is there was a big tug of war going on with her. She was becoming physically ill and having problems. If it starts reaching that point, then we would do something a little more drastic. But where you're, okay, so the best way to do this is try on the energy of the new job and see how it feels. Flow the energy down that way a little bit. Tell yourself the story of it. See how it feels to your heart. See how it connects with you. And then take that jacket off, put on the jacket of staying where you are, and flow the energy in that direction and see how that feels to you. One of them is clearly in your heart going to feel better, and you're going to know which way to go. And we already know that you already know that. So you're in the process of lining up your energy completely with that, because your heart is already going that way, but your ego mind is causing you to be in fear, which is causing the imbalance. So the thing that we would like you to work on is getting yourself in alignment, getting yourself in balance, and being more in your heart. Try to move out of fear. Do things that bring you joy. Do things that make you happy. Listen to music, dance, go see the animals, paint, laugh, any of those things. And from the alignment, you will know what to do. And then you'll take your leap of faith. Cindy is asking, does anyone have something they want me to know? Well, Cindy, you've been coming to a lot of the workshops. You've been coming to the show. You've been doing the work, and they want you to just relax and to continue on your path and to continue to trust your instincts, continue to trust what feels right for you, and know that you can't get it wrong, that you're flowing in the right direction. Trust your instincts and keep moving that way. Continue to, the biggest thing that they would like you to work on is they would like you to work on being worried less. So when you feel yourself in worry, that's when you want to start shifting your energy back to connected. That's when you want to do things, as we were just saying, listen to music that makes you happy, do some meditation, take a nap, go outside in nature, do any of those things and move your energy into that direction. So the thing that they want you to do is to be less in worry and more in connected. Perfect. Good. Are you getting anything on that, or are we good, Julie?
I actually am, and I don't know if Cindy can type a response here, and it may just resonate with her. She may not have to, but I definitely have a male energy, probably feels fatherly to me, and he's walking an Appaloosa and a chestnut. And so I'm assuming that those are horses that you've either known or he has with him. But he's saying if you just get into the feeling that you have as you are walking with those horses, that will always lead you the right way. So whatever subject matter it is that you're trying to think of, if you have that peaceful feeling you have when you're walking with those horses, that's the right way.
Perfect. Perfect.
Hopefully
Now,
horses make sense to her.
yes. Now, you didn't hear it, but I could hear it. Marge gasped when you said walking with the horses, because when we've been doing the law of attraction workshop with Cindy, we've been talking about being with the horses with her and imagining the horses in her mind and riding on the horses and what it feels like to be on the horses and everything else. So that is all completely in alignment there. So Cindy got a whole lot this afternoon. So that's wonderful. Lisa. Hi, Ed. Happy to catch you live. Are there any messages from the guides regarding my upcoming move? Okay. Let me see what we can check in with here for Lisa. I'm not getting anything specific, but I do feel like things are lining up and that things are going to start opening up a little bit sooner. We would hold our focus and pre-pave the energy of everything flowing, everything working out. We've talked about that, to tell the story of how it is so that the energy starts flowing, and do it from a place of love and connected, not a place from fear. And we do feel that it will, as you flow more energy. That's the biggest thing right now, because we're not getting a big feeling from this. So flow some more energy towards that and work in that direction. Are you picking up anything from Lisa?
So I don't know if Lisa knows where she's going, but what I felt, and again, subjective, but it's something clearing with a neighbor of where she'll be moving to. So it's almost like all the puzzle pieces aren't in place. The delay is for a reason. So it's like something's clearing from somebody around where she's moving.
Good. Perfect. Thank you. Excellent. Lynn, I applied for a high-level job that I keep being drawn to. What do the guides advise me to do? So the question is, and only you can answer this, Lynn, is, are you being drawn to it from a place of the world of thought, from the place of the mind, from the place of the ego, or are you being drawn to it from the place of the heart? And that is where you want to decide how you want to put your energy. If you're being drawn to it from the place of the mind, from the place of the intellect, that's not a problem, and that doesn't necessarily mean it's bad. That's not what we're saying. We want you to discern where you're being drawn from and where it's calling you from. And then if it is coming from the mind, we would add some energy to it and flow the energy in that direction, as we've been talking about here this afternoon. See it, feel it, try the energy on, see how it goes for you, and make sure that you like it. That way you can sort of try it before you get there. The thing that we want to just be aware of is, are you doing it because you really feel called to do it, or are you doing it because you're chasing money? And if you're chasing money, that might not be the best reason to do it. And only you in your heart can determine that. But those are the things that we would look into as far as that is concerned. Okay. Oh, and you did type in that it's more of a feeling from your heart. So good. So that's alignment. So then it doesn't feel like you're chasing money. We would start flowing the energy, start telling the story of it. Try to find the excitement. Now, Julie is a tough person to live up to, but she's eager and excited every morning when she wakes up. See if you can find that kind of energy to connect. Even half of Julie's electricity will make that work for you. So we would do that. Is there anything you would like to add to that, Julie?
Lynn, only obviously you can answer this, but I feel like there's almost an air of, I've always wanted this job. Can I do it? Remove that fear base. You know how to do this, because there's nothing you can't learn. And I think by instinct, you'll be able to do it. So it may be a fear base holding her back.
Perfect. Excellent. Good. So that is our show for this week. You can find my website and you can find me there. I would like to thank Star Nations. I would like to thank Julie for being here with us today. And as I said, it's the fastest hour of your life. And we love you dearly. And I know a lot of people who are watching also. We used to say that if you live in Massachusetts, you can come to the workshops and see us. And hopefully at some point that will happen again. But we are doing all of our workshops on Zoom. So wherever you live around the world, you can join us in Zoom. We do have a workshop coming up at Dragonflies and Amber a little bit this month. It's on my website there. And again, thank you to Julie. Thank you to Marge. She did a wonderful job flying the plane. Thank you to Neshi and to Star Nations. And do you have a final greeting you'd like to, or a final thing you'd like to say?
Well, obviously, thank you to you and Marge because you bring so much light to my life. But, I would like to take this world format to thank all of my family, my friends, the practitioners, universe itself, and all that is, because my life is amazing. So just thank you to all.
Perfect. Perfect. Excellent. Good. The guides want you to know that you're worthy. Light and love, guys. We'll see you next month. Take care now.
All right.
Bye.
Thanks, Ed.